the signature day of an international agreement, which just goes to show the increased awareness and the fact that this revolution is underway is very much irreversible. Last year, I explained to you the importance of that meeting. If we want to limit global temperature increases to under 2 degrees, the turning point has happened, and the agreement recognizes something particularly important, the usefulness of carbon pricing, which is necessary to dissuade investing in polluting energy. Let me remind you that the group was really in the driving seat in preparing the COP21 discussions, for instance, in coordinating dialogue between companies on the one hand and political negotiators on the other hand. That task was entrusted to me. And at this meeting, I also like to announce that the group significantly boosted its target regarding CO2 emissions with an objective of cutting the emission rate to minus 20% by 2020, as opposed to the 10% cut that we were targeting previously. This target is part of a whole set of environmental and societal objectives that we have and that Judith Hartmann will talk to you about in a few moments' time. All the stakeholders have to move forward: governments, companies, investors, civil society, and also finance, shareholders. And thanks to all stakeholder mobilization, the agreement became possible. Now, while these structural changes are taking place that are going to have a tremendous long-term impact, we can also say in 2015, we saw the collapse of commodity prices, oil prices reaching a record low, ongoing drops in gas and electricity prices. As you can see on this chart, oil prices have been down since the second half of 2014, leading a strong drop in gas prices as well. And electricity prices also dropped significantly, and their drop has been going on for longer than that. That's the overall environment that's led to significant book losses in some specific activities. Judith will talk about these. So the overall context has deteriorated. That also had an impact on share prices. You can see here total return to shareholders, including dividends, is down by 21% since last year's AGM, as compared to minus 9% for general companies in the CAC 40. So overall, the market's been having to grapple with the drop in economic growth globally and drops in commodity prices, but this is especially had an impact in terms of cuts in electricity prices and gas prices. During this period, as you can see, here we have the main European energy players. Engie's performance is middle of the road, better than other copper plate operators in Europe. This copper plate, this is the big area covering Germany, France, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg that's basically interconnected. And probably we fared better, resisted better than the other companies, Aon, EDF, and RWE, that are the other copper plate players. In reality, thanks to the fact we have a more diversified portfolio of activities covering services, we're also more international. We're not only active in Europe, and that was very beneficial to us. As you can see, the Mediterranean operators, Enel, Iberdrola, and Gaz Natural, are doing better. They're reaping the benefits of higher electricity prices, substantially higher. Italy and Spain are electricity islands, so to speak. That's the overall context. To prepare the future with that in mind and our transformation, we have a very clear action plan, which is structured around 6 main areas of leverage. Firstly, we made a strategic choice to refocus ourselves, divesting 15 billion in assets that are exposed to commodity prices, commodities, i.e. oil, gas, and electricity. Over a third of these disposals, these divestments, have already taken place. It's a 3-year program. We've already completed over a third of the disposals as of the end of February. We announced 2 deals end of February. The sale of our United States assets for power generation, an amount of $4.5 billion, plus the sale of 2 coal-fired power plants, one in India and one in Indonesia, the amount $1 billion. Next, and this is a very important point, we want to increase the proportion of our EBITDA that's exposed to contracted and regulated activities to 85% by 2018 versus approximately 50% in 2014. This way we'll have greater stability, visibility, and we will be more resilient. Thirdly, we've also committed to further strengthen the group's financial structure. This is absolutely indispensable in an uncertain environment. This has been a constant in our strategy. We're going to continue cutting our debt. A significant part of the proceeds from our divestments will be used to reduce the debt. Our financial equations need to be such that we can overfinance through our operational cash flow any requirements we have, such as to pay dividends as well as net capital expenditure. Fourthly, we are launching a performance plan, which we've called Lean 2018. It's a 3-year performance plan. This will entail a large-scale effort to cut overheads, purchasing, and operational costs. All in all, the effect on our EBITDA should be 1 billion euros net by 2018. This will be an impact that will be 50% greater than the impact of Performance 2013-2015, the plan we called Perform. Something else we're going to leverage to enhance performance will be simplifying our organization. I alluded to this earlier. With the disappearance of the branches, the 5 of the branches now organized in 24 business units and 5 cross-cutting business lines. Fifthly, resilient guidance. We've met our 2015 target of recurring income group share. 2016, we're expecting recurring income group share to be between 2.4 and 2.7 billion euros. We confirm, in addition, a dividend of a minimum of €1 announced for 2015 and 2016. So we've announced that, and we will be doing that. 2016-2017, we're committing to pay a dividend of 70 euro cents per share in cash, 70 euro cents per share. 2017, to announce, this will be the first time we pay an increased dividend, increased by 10%, to shareholders that have registered their shares as of the end of 2014. Lastly, the last point of leverage in our action plan, we're ambitiously continuing our industrial development. Over the next 3 years, Engie will be investing 22 billion in capital expenditure, including 7 billion in maintenance, in low-carbon activities, and integrated client solutions. To that end, we're really using a high-performance, good foundation of activities. This really helps us gain a very strong international position in 3 areas. Firstly, I'm thinking of electricity generation that uses little or no carbon. The group recently decided to no longer begin any new carbon coal projects. We decided to close our largest coal-fired plant in the UK. That's the Rudgley plant, 1,000 megawatts. That's the equivalent of a nuclear tranche. Also to close the plant in the Netherlands. It's coal-fired and 600 megawatts. After selling coal assets in Asia, I mentioned these a moment ago, we've cut our coal capacity by 1/3. Henceforth, we've shifted from 15 to 10% of the group's production mix, which means coal only represents 10% of our overall electricity generation facilities. So we're putting priority on renewables: wind, water, sun, gas and biogas thermal production. Engie, I'd remind you, is the #1 independent electricity producer worldwide. The second area, gas infrastructures and LNG. Historically, we've been developing these in France and in Europe. Now, we're developing these in Mexico, Chile, Peru, India, emerging economies. A third area, energy services. We have 100,000 people here. We're already #1 worldwide in energy services with a strong presence in Europe, and we're spreading this internationally very quickly. These are major, long-standing assets we have. Make it possible for us to build a clear vision of Engie's future and step up our transformation. We'll no longer just be a provider of gas and electricity, but a real comprehensive energy solutions provider in a low-carbon world, a decarbonized world. We are an actor, a player of the future of energy, part of the energy transition. I'm going to hand the floor to Judith now, who will go through our 2015 results in detail, and she will explain the financial situation of the company to you. Then Isabel will take the floor and will talk to you in detail about the strategic vision and the group's transformation plan. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm delighted to be with you this afternoon to present the operational and financial results of your company and to say a brief word about the outlook for the year that's underway. Our 2015 results reflect the strength of our company. I'd like to mention 5 highlights. Net recurring income group share at 2.6 billion euros, consistent with our objective. This figure is, however, down by 5%, that is to say 100 million euros. Cash flow generation that has remained very high. Operational cash flows amounted to 9.8 billion euros, up by 1.9 billion euros year on year. So these figures allow us to display a financial structure that is robust. Our ratio of net debt over EBITDA is of 2.5, in line with our target. Our credit rating of A and A1 also meets our target to maintain a category A rating. So all these items allow us to propose a dividend per share of €1 in 2015. This is in line with what we committed to. Net income group share is posting a loss of minus 4.6 billion euros, including 6.8 billion euros of exceptional impairments after taxes and minorities linked to the decline in commodity prices. More about that later. Let's look now at the income statement. Revenues, 69.9 billion, is down overall by 6.4% compared to 2014. This decrease is due in particular by the drop in commodity prices, the reduction of E&P LNG activities, and the outage of Belgian plants of Doel 3 and Tihange 2 over most of last year, and the stoppage of Doel 1 as of February. These were partially offset by the rise of the dollar against the euro and a more favorable climate in France, in spite of very mild climate at the end of 2015. 2014 was particularly warm. Let's now